talk about it being halftime in America. We're a touchdown down, and I kind of like the idea of being a little bit behind.
Well, I'm looking at...
Yeah, some people do when you're down when you shouldn't be, but when you're down and you should be up, I wouldn't kind of like that. It kind of bothered me because Kamala Harris has been our VP in the Democratic administration for the last 4 years. And we're a touchdown down, and it's halftime.
Coach Walz right now. I'm looking at Coach Walz.
Like I have white guy tacos and like black.
I hate when white people say that. White guy this or white guy that. Nah, you just have tacos. Everybody has their own way of making them, but why can't you say you made tacos? And I don't know what the white guy in front of it means. It's a way to kind of, people go, oh, I'll make you some tacos. Oh, you're not a cook. You're not a cook. You're not a seasoned food. You know what tacos taste like. What's that all about?
Like mayonnaise and tuna? What are you doing?
Pretty much ground.
And then here she go. Mayonnaise and tuna. That's all you can do is just clown white people like that. But when it comes to real stuff that count, she don't say stuff like that.
On beef and cheese.
That's okay. Do you put any flavor in it?
No.
Oh.
Here's the deal. No, they said to be careful and let her know this, that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota, you know.
Not anymore. Go to Minnesota. I mean, maybe he don't know his constituency, but he needs to take a look at Minnesota, and believe me, black pepper is not at the top of the spice chart in Minnesota at all. Minneapolis. Is he crazy?
First vice president, I believe, who has ever grown chili peppers.
I'm trying to expand my food knowledge.
You know what? We've got some cantaloupes. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, I
was
called you,
hoping
Tim.
maybe we wouldn't have to.
I called you, Tim.
Yes.
You didn't answer, Tim.
I know.
What happened?
The most important call of my life. It popped up, and we didn't recognize the caller ID, and it went to voicemail.
Hi, this is Jim. I'm not able to answer your call. Thank you.
Hey, Tim, it's Kamala. I really want to talk to you.
Just a big old goofball. I mean, I get it. Okay, he didn't answer the phone, but she just tried to spend too much time on stuff that ain't going nowhere. It's BS. It's not going anywhere. She know it ain't going anywhere, and she just tried to drag it on just to kill some time because she's not doing anything of substance. And she needs to start.
It is an amazing privilege for me. Also, I'm excited. I just want to be part of the excitement that you're generating.
Well, we're doing it together, buddy.
fun.
We're doing it together. How have these last couple of days been for you?
I can see where the energy comes. America is a hopeful country.
Indeed.
People are excited.
In every one of those groups of thousands, sometimes over 10,000 people.
Whoa, crowd size. You need to stop acting like Trump. It's a bad look. He is not the person you want to aspire to be like.
Seeing exactly who we are as America.
Yeah.
People from rural areas, urban areas, of every stripe and size and background. This is who we are as America, and we're all in it together.
Yeah.
And in this campaign, the only way we win is to keep the pedal to the metal for these next many, many days that we have. So, Tim, what's your relationship to music?
Yeah. For me, the transformational piece of music was Bruce Springsteen's The River,
Okay.
which is a journey. You know all the tracks.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about who his favorite nothing is, except his favorite thing to do for people in the country. What is that all about? What is your position on this and that and that? And it's so many things. There's so many people you guys are bringing into the Democratic tent, and you need to address them. I need to address some of the people that have been in that tent for a minute, but their part of the tent got a hole in it and it's leaking on them. We need to start addressing some of that stuff, Kamala, and quit acting like it's just smooth sailing. We've been in, oh no. Well, what did you guys think, you and Joe Biden, Kamala, what did you guys think was going to happen when you won last time? At this point, did you think you'd be here asking for our votes again and saying that you were a touchdown down and it's halftime? I mean, did you think you'd be saying that? Because I feel like we wasted our vote then. What did we vote for you for? And you're a touchdown down and it's halftime. What are we going to do, Coach? What are we going to do?
And then that guy, my first car, it's summer 1980, been saving up. I buy a 1973 orange Chevy Camaro, got an 8-track player in it.
Oh, wow.
Previous owner left Bob Seger's Night Moves in there. I listen to it, and it's kind of the soundtrack of my life of Detroit's own Bob Seger. But what's really great about this is I have a 79.
We're 82 days away from the vote. 82 days, and we're going to be voting on the next president. And this is one of them, and her vice president pick. 82 days away, and this is what they're talking about. This is what we hear from them. 82 days out. Y'all ain't worried? Should be.
And International is my car. It's got an 8-track player in it. I have the very 8-track to this day.
You're kidding me.
No, but how about you?
I grew up, so all these albums here, I mean, Aretha. My mother had every Aretha album, and
She is. He said, "How about you?" These albums. This is my mother. I love. Now, did that pass on to you? Are you a big Aretha fan? Are you knowledgeable of the history of Aretha Franklin or Motown, or was that the only artist your mother liked? What I'm trying to say here is, he's trying to get one of those questions that just kills uncomfortable silence in the room. You guys are just asking each other a bunch of generic questions that mean nothing. Fluff. This is the opportunity for you to at least say, hey, you know what? We got a little 10 minutes to spend with the American public. At this moment, we ain't doing interviews. You ain't got to speak on that or nothing, Kamala. I get it. But until you guys get your plan together, you can come a little stronger than this. Everybody will know this dude 10 minutes. We've been hearing some bad, questionable things about him. Is it true? Can you convince us otherwise? Who give a damn what his first car was, or if he like 8-track players, or if he know how to make a tuna sandwich out of tacos, or any of that kind of stuff? Don't want to know. I want to know some stuff that's going to happen in my life as a result of your pick, and hopefully you guys winning. But it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen because you're not doing anything to solidify that black vote, and that black vote is peeling away from you. And whether somebody wants to take a chance with, will we lose enough, or take the chance, find out. Fuck around and find out.
like our Christmas gift to my mother, her birthday gift was always like, what's the latest Aretha Franklin record?
So it's on vinyl in your house as
Like
a
all of it. All that and Stevie. And then Miles, and my dad loved jazz, and so it was.
I mean, it's just like, that's what the kind of answers I would have given. Honestly, if someone was asking me about my parents growing up, my mother's from Arkansas, dad from Mississippi, you would hear those kind of responses to questions about my parents. Oh yeah, Aretha Franklin, Motown, my dad, jazz, that was him. My dad was one of them brothers used to sit back with his pipe and cross his legs and be listening to jazz and Miles Davis and all of that. And to hear that from her, it bothers me. It may not bother some people, but it bothers me because they're so disingenuous. Because she is of Indian heritage, and as a result of that, she should speak on that too. She should talk about who she completely is and not just one small part that she feels comfortable lying to us about.
It was Miles, it was Coltrane, one of my personal favorite musicians for when I was younger was Prince. And of course...
So that's the thing. Does she really like Prince? Or does she just know that Prince is from the state that this man is the governor of? You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff that bothers me with her. She just always has to have, meet people like that. They just always got to have a connection or a hookup in something. And you'd be like, oh, yeah. You know, we went to Big Bear last year. Oh, yeah, my uncle jumped off a mountain up there and killed us. I mean, there's always got to be something. And this is one of them kind of people. I don't think I can deal with her as a president for 4 years, but who knows? We made it through Trump shit. I mean, who knows? The country ain't going nowhere. Black people, if any of you are in the corner cheering that we might vote the wrong one of these people in and the country's going to disappear, that ain't going to happen. This country and this duopoly and this political system that has been built is not believe me, if it goes down, they going down swinging. They ain't gonna. She's threatening democracy is about to be lost over Trump because of the Heritage Foundation and their Project 2025. Let's say Project 2025 was a fact. Somebody really worked at the Paris. Don't you think with them? Well, how brave would you be if you're going to overthrow the government and you put it in a document and make it public where everybody can read it? You don't sound like you're too serious about overthrowing anything, to me. You just like to write, you know, what is it? In my own opinion, kind of thing. Because if you really mean what you about to do, as far as up there, and that's why I'm very disappointed in the Democrats responding to it in fear, hoping that it scares some people to vote for them. Oh no, we're gonna lose the democracy. Come on, man. You guys should just ignore that kind of foolishness. And if Donald Trump is saying he don't know nothing about it, take him for his word, like he don't know nothing about it. But later on, if he comes around and says that he do, it could be bad for him in some ways. But I just don't think Project 2025 is what everybody thinks it is. I definitely don't think it has anything directly pointed at blacks. I think I mentioned that before. If it was that devastating to blacks, it would be clearly in quotation marks on the front page of all the papers, because they know that would be it. Like Kamala, we got you the black vote. Project 2025 says that they're going back to slavery and they're not going to vote for that. But you know that ain't true. It ain't saying nothing in there specifically aimed at us. So you have to make it seem like 900 pages. Ooh, what could be in there? Oh no! Ain't nothing for us. Nothing.
It's from your estate, and he, you know, in fact, I'll tell you. So my husband Doug and I'm more of a hip hop girl.
Yeah.
He's more of Depeche Mode.
Oh yeah, oh, about the same time.
Yeah, I'm sure you
of
like
course,
music.
of course. So.
But Prince, you know, in the Venn diagram of things, Prince, he and I love the same, because I mean, talk about how Prince was with that guitar, man. I almost know by heart every one of those songs.
I feel like a trip to Paisley Park is going to happen here if the staff
It's on my bucket list, I'll tell you that. Tell me about your dad and his influence on you. He served our country. You have served for our country for so many years.
I was 19. My little brother, I think, was eight or nine when he passed. He was a chain smoker, you know, just addicted. They got a Korean War era, and that generation of men pretty stoic. After he died, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. She became our rock, and now she had to go out and get work because the medical bills broke her, and Social Security. And Social Security survivor benefits. We're fine pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. We had no boots.
Tell me about it.
That's the boots.
And it's survival,
We paid it
literally.
back. It is survival. We all paid it back. So programs that are just fundamental to keeping people from dropping into poverty. But
Do they have programs that are just fundamental to getting people out of poverty? Or do they just care about the middle class? Because I think this campaign is focusing a little bit on the middle class too much. And we got homeless people walking all over our communities. And we got people who can't afford their rent each month or food. And they keep talking about people in that middle class. Do they think they can just sew up the middle class and then win the election that way and not really worry about the poor people? Because no one ever else really does, unless you work for them. Other than that, they don't even care about you.
to live with dignity, you keep talking about that.
We got to help people get through a hard time. We can't have a country and policies that let people fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
I love what you have done with your life. You were coaching a high school football team that was winless.
Yes.
See? And a winless, he's a coach of a team that's getting their ass whipped on a regular basis. And he coming here talking about it. It's halftime and we're down by a touch. No. You are on the winning team right now. Now, if you're down by a touchdown, it's because of a misstep. It's not because anything that Trump did. You beat him in 2020, and here we are 4 years later, so you can do it again. And you're talking about you're down by a touchdown? We need to talk about that.
And you came in, and so they were clearly the underdogs.
And it's
what happened?
Yeah, it's a team, and I had great coaches with me, and we were friends, and we buckled down. And look, I was a fairly big school, but nobody wanted to play because they hadn't won. And this group of coaches said, first and foremost, we gotta build the team. We gotta go out and find people. So we invited them in, and I'll be honest, the first year we did not score a touchdown.
You know, when you coach at a high school and you got your kids is who you got. You gotta make your team from those kids, or you don't have a team. Where to go out and get? Where you gonna get these kids? Or is it, what, are you next to a black community somewhere and they're able to talk them kids over for a little bit of a better education? You want to be on the winning team, you're gonna be the winning team. I mean, how in the hell does we had to go out and get people?
Until the last game of the year, we got shut out in every game. My high score until the final game was my defensive tackle because we got a safety in one game. 2 years later, those kids won a state championship. That school has won several more since then.
Right.
We left. You build culture. You build
That's
winning.
right.
People want to be a
All right, Coach Brian.
part of it, and
Yeah.
that's the excitement. That's the excitement of what it can be.
That's how I feel about our campaign.
Yeah.
Our campaign is the underdog campaign.
Oh yeah.
Why do you keep saying that? Why do you keep trying to put yourself in a position as if, because you might be in a really sick way admitting that Donald Trump's presidency is still casting a shadow over you guys' administration to put him up by a touchdown at halftime? I don't get it. This man has not been our president since 2020. And you guys are still, I'm not getting it. And it's starting to bother me. This interview here especially, I was kind of excited to see you and your VP picks sitting across from each other and kind of showing your chemistry that you don't have, and hoping that you touch on something that would spark something in me to make me be realistically optimistic. And it ain't. You're sitting there and just bullshitted us basically through the conversation. And now I'm looking forward to an interview. I can't wait to see you next to somebody who, and especially one of the journalists like that Natasha girl from The Griot, who's pretty mellow, don't get too excited, but she'll be point blank asking them questions and you be like, and getting all nervous and upset. I like that out of you. Because you need to be put on the hot seat, because you're on the hot seat already, just not from our side. They got you on the hot seat from the other side because you have a responsibility to bring these black votes to them. And without listening to us. That's going to be a real tough one to do. And you might pull it off. Shit, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you're not. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do my part so that you don't. Because I don't like nobody taking advantage of my folks. I don't like that.
And with our joy, we also have to understand that we're still up against some forces
Yes.
that are trying to divide our country. It pains me the kind of division and the stoking of divisions that has taken place,
Yes.
right? And when we can remind people and create a space for everyone to come where they see each other
That's
and
the
say,
magic.
hey, you
They're-
know,
they're
we're all
pretty-
in this together.
It almost feels like everybody's coming out of their house after a blizzard and, a Minnesota reference, and you shovel out, and then you start talking to your neighbors. How was it the last couple of days or whatever it might be? They're re-energizing, and they're looking for their neighbors. We keep saying, you
That's
keep talking
right.
about the promise of America, and we say, take care of your neighbor.
In the face of a stranger.
Take care of your neighbor.
When you're looking in the face of a stranger, you should see a neighbor, right?
Now, when you're looking in the face of your goddamn neighbor, you should see a neighbor. Your real neighbor. You shouldn't have to go look at a stranger to do nice things for him and bring him into a wealth and opportunity. You got a whole bunch of people here who are your neighbors currently that you need to do those things you just said for. Kamala.
Yeah. I'm about crying on this when you talk about, look, a girl from Oakland, California, a guy from out in Nebraska
Right.
on there. And the number of people I watch just kind of nod and break into a smile, this exploiting the difference.
It's got to be just a couple of them. Ain't no whole bunch of people nodding and smiling about a bunch of emptiness. A bunch of people who think they just about to get in the White House just on a bunch of smile. You guys didn't understand. Obama had very carefully crafted speeches that hit like precision shots from a marksman's rifle. I mean, the man knew exactly, and he did it. But that's going to make it a little more difficult for you, Kamala, because he did that shit. He lied to us, he fooled us, he pretended to us, he made us understand that he understood, and then he still went on to do nothing. And after admitting that the United States is not ready for, doing anything for black people, as far as any reparations or anything at all, period, he went on to do and sign legislation and get things done for the LGBT, which lets me know that in Obama's opinion, the LGBT community was going to be a little more palatable than the black community to get something done for. So that's what's going to make it hard for you, Kamala. That's what's going to make it more difficult for us to circle the wagons around you and really fight. Because, man, if you could make these black people as committed as they are, as passionate as they are for their candidates, if you could just give them something to give them some hope and show them that you genuinely are pulling for them and that their reparations isn't coming in this election, but this is what we're going to do to line it up and get it ready, and start speaking to black people the way we need to be spoken to, in the reality of studies on reparations being bullshit and stalling tactics. You can say it, and if they say no, what are you going? Let's not give them anything except for the time we had them in slavery. Once we freed them, we don't owe them shit. Say that, and just give us that trillion. 1860, you freed us, okay. No 40 acres and none of that. But you guys got free labor. You guys raped, robbed, stole. When we add up all of that in today's terms, there's a few $1 trillion. So let's get to working on that. And when you can sit around with a neighbor next to you who's been done the way this neighbor's been done, cheated, exploited, and all you can say is, we just gonna not leave nobody behind. Do you guys just not see us? What part of black people don't you see?
It can't last. I talk about it being halftime in America. We're a touchdown down because a lot of folks, it's easier to tear things down. It's easier to divide than it is to build. But once you start that momentum, once we come out and where we're at right now, people want to be part of something that's winning. They want to be part of something that's good, and they want to be part of something that everybody can be a part of. And I kind of like the idea of being a little bit behind it.
Well, first off, guys, if you call your opponent weird and his whole campaign, which would mean that the people who support that campaign are weird, you ain't about to unite shit. You guys ain't gonna get together and have no beers. I mean, remember when you called us weird? No, it's not gonna happen. So you can't be sitting in one conversation and saying one thing. Next conversation, you're out here acting like the kids who you were teaching in that school, a bully, calling your opponent weird. Attack him on his policies. I don't care what he attack you on. We already know who Donald Trump is. That's why most people don't support him. But if you can pull yourself above that and not stoop down to name calling and bullying. Because that reminds me of childhood bullying, calling someone weird. I don't call anyone weird. That's not a compliment and it's not a put down. It's just a bullying tactic. It's horrible.
I'm looking at Coach Walz right now. I'm looking at Coach Walz.
Did you always know you wanted to be an attorney?
My parents met when they were active in the civil rights movement. I grew up.
That's another plug on the black. They may have met in the civil rights. I don't know. I doubt it. I don't believe it. My own opinion. You heard it here on Popcorn, telling you my opinion, and my opinion is she lying. You know why? Because she has too much blackness in her history every time she opened her damn mouth. But she's Middle Eastern. She is an Indian descendant. Her mother is from over there. Her dad is too. His ancestry and Jamaica. Jamaica isn't black. They're Irish Jamaicans. Jamaicans were owned by Europeans. So don't mean that he. Now you look at the little brownness in the man. Have you ever been outside and you seen any little Indian women or men and they look darker than me for sure? And you're like, geez, they look like black people, but their hair is straight. They have features that are different than ours. I get it. Every time you see a dark person, they're not black. Don't go grab them and try to pull them into the race, you guys. We got enough problems over here. We don't need to make it any more difficult for them or for us. But Kamala Harris is, every chance she gets, she bringing up something that relates to being black. That's disingenuous. It is because she's trying to relate to us in this conversation without relating to us. If we ain't so goddamn important, quit talking about us, period. Just leave our race and our name and our heritage and our culture out of your mouth, and then go on and see how far you get. Because you're relying on that vote that you refuse to do anything for. You know I'm telling the truth.
Around a bunch of people that were, marching and shouting for justice. And some of the heroes of that movement were the lawyers, Thurgood Marshall, right? They understood how to translate the passion from the streets to the courtrooms of our country.
We still ain't figured that out. Today, 2024, what she just said is not the truth. The passion from the streets has never translated into the courtrooms in this country. Because the streets is not something that they plan on integrating or mingling with. They ain't happening. It's that way and the street. And she's trying to act like Thurgood Marshall. He's a black man, but he wasn't from the streets, and he wasn't in the Supreme Court making no landslide decisions, because it's a council and not one person. So if she was, it's just other people and other events and other things that she could reference along with some of the black things. But she's not black, and I don't like that disingenuous part. And it almost seems petty to keep going on and on about it, but then fuck it, it's petty for her to be doing this shit. I'm petty then.
And they believed in the Constitution of the United States and the principles upon which it was founded. And that's where they then, in the courts of America, reminded us of the promise, right?
No. Stop. She always do that shit. The promise, right? No. We're done with that shit. Promises. What Abraham Lincoln did in the 40 acres and a mule promise, and then got killed, so it was reversed. Any president after him could have restored that. Let that sink in. He was the 16th president of the United States. 16th. All those other presidents before him, slave owners, slave holders, slave killers, slave traders. And then we go all the way up now to 45, 46, 47 president of the United States. And not one of those presidents has looked back and said, nah, man, that wasn't right. But it took the first president after Lincoln to turn around and say, we ain't about to give that to them black people. No, no, no. That's too good, too nice. It's not like they weren't into giving away land. They just weren't into giving it away to us. So what I'm saying here is, folks, she needs to knock it off and quit trying to make it look like the black people in this country don't exist, because she doesn't mention us directly. She mentions us when you ask her about herself. Speak about us without quoting a bunch of statistics and how terrible things have been for us, because it makes me dislike you more, because I realize you do understand. You just intentionally not doing nothing. So sometimes maybe you should let all the intelligence go away and just say, oh yeah, black people, I have some black friends, and let it go at that.
And the ideals of our country, including equality, freedom, right?
And that freedom. Every time they say freedom, they're talking about us, but they're not talking about us. But those are those key words that come up when they're trying to make black people say, see, they're talking about freedom. Yeah, but what are they talking about? For not a damn thing. They just use the word because it's a part of one of those speeches. It's a part of our movement. It's a part of our life. When you hear freedom, we once weren't free in this damn country. You don't just use words like that just arbitrarily, and you're trying to relate to a group of people. It's not nice, you guys. I don't give a damn. It ain't nice. She could do better than that and relate to us and get the support of people like me who are skeptical and should be asking all kind of questions and shit. But nah, she want to roll like this.
That's why I went to law school. But the other reason is when I was in high school, my best friend I loved was being molested by her stepfather.
Well, God, is the girl dead? You should be a little more discreet than that. Jesus Christ.
And when I realized what was happening, I told her, you have to come live with us. I called my mom. You know, I have to tell you, Tim, it was the first time.
Let me tell you guys something about black households. Our parents had a hard time clothing and feeding us. And I, too, had friends who had issues that I felt compassion and concern for. and would try to bring those things up, you know, in a general conversation with my mom, just kind of like popping out things, letting people know, letting my mom know my friend's condition. And my mother would remind me of our condition. And after she got through, I usually got it. That, shit, my friend might be better off than I am. But Kamala apparently was in a position to help friends, which is really nice. Her mom being a single mother and being able to take on another child and help them out, even for a short while. I don't know how long this went on or if this shit even happened. But if it did, it's a wonderful thing to be in a position to do something like that. Some people aren't very helpful because they ain't in a position to be helpful. They just don't have the resources. So that's really good that Kamala family had those resources.
Time that I realized how not everyone can take their safety for granted.
Yeah.
And what we should all feel is a sense of responsibility to protect people from harm.
Yeah.
So that's why
No words.
I decided I want to be a prosecutor. And as a prosecutor, I prosecuted homicide cases, I prosecuted a number of different types of cases, but I specialized in child sexual assault cases. And one of the things I did was create a whole unit dedicated to focusing on children who are being abused and to ensure that they have dignity in the process and justice. There's so much work that we still have to do to make sure that children have a voice.
For me, that's kind of with me. Get in as a teacher.
Yeah.
It's about the kids and wherever you teach.
Right.
Once I had my own children, it became so clear to me, and I think it made me a really good teacher.
Yeah.
That child who came through the door was somebody's most special thing in their life.
Absolutely.
That's it. And you have to look at our little black children as the most important thing in our life. And we want the same things for our kids that everybody else gets for their kids. We want our kids to be educated. We want our kids to understand and be treated with respect and have jobs and be promoted or demoted on their merit. And not because of their color or somebody don't like them or some office politics that have to do with something that's harming them just because of the way they look. That's all. That's not that unreasonable, Kamala. I know you understand what I'm saying, but I know that them people that you gotta go face up to don't understand. But you better get to working on making them understand, because if you go on forward with what you plan on doing, you're not gonna get as high as Biden did last time, but you're gonna score in a high percentage point for the black vote. You're gonna do well. If Trump hits 19, 20%, that'd be more than he could have expected. But for you could snap up any of them votes by just committing to something tangible for black people. And don't just keep acting like the world is a wonderful place and the more immigrants you bring in, we'll just eventually start looking at them like neighbors and friends. But it's not going to happen. You need to give us an opportunity in this country like we've never had before. Because throughout all the slayings and all of the lynchings and all of the things that have been going on that would mentally stop a person in their tracks outside of the physical part that's obvious. But when you see what the country has done to us to make us behave the way we do, and then you get an opportunity to become a potential candidate for president, and then you could possibly win in November and be our president, and you're campaigning like this, once you win, it ain't gonna get better. If I can't hear no blackness coming out of you now, except for when you're reminiscing about your life and your upbringing and how civil rights and jazz music and all these things that are so black, and you just keep plucking those words and regurgitating them to us, and I ain't biting.
Thinking of a parent dressing their little one up and sending them off to school so proud of them, I wanted to come through that door and just lift them up, that sense of service. It's interesting, two different parts of the country, two different lived experiences, but all coming to that same goal of everybody getting a fair shot.
Well, you know, I have to tell you, Tim, even though you and I grew up in different parts of the country, you remind me of the people I grew up with. Hard-working folks, plain speaking,
Yeah.
people who know the difference between right and wrong,
Yep.
and care, love thy neighbor in
Do you know the difference between right and wrong, Kamala? You got I think your speech is going to be the downfall. I do, because you got to dig in a little deeper, and they're going to have to allow you to do that. They're not. I know they're holding you back with that, and it's horrible for you. It's just a bad look. It's so unnatural because you don't ever talk about nothing but nothing. We got to dig a little deeper now. It's that time.
In the most authentic and true way.
Yeah.
Those are the folks I grew up with, and I know that's who you are, and I'm so glad we're doing this
I'm proud
together.
to be with you.
Yeah. Here we go, y'all. That's our Democratic ticket. The reason that I even have a level of responsibility, and I hope it leaves me after this election, is because I've always voted Democrat. I voted Democrat for these Biden-Harris ticket, and I feel responsible for a lot of this that's going on. So I'm gonna do my part to let everybody know to just start paying attention, to make up your own mind. Don't listen to people bullying you. Some people get so emotional when you say something to them about one of their candidates, and it's because they know that shit is true, and they don't want you to tell nobody else that, because they know and they still voting for that person. But they don't want you to be telling other people who didn't know, because then they won't vote for them. It's like, that's the kind of shit that we got going on now. You guys, we can do better than this. I know we can, and we're gonna, you know. But I just wanted you guys to see the opportunity that these two had to sit down and kind of get acclimated to each other, kind of let us see them together, and I don't know what they thought that was going to bring. I don't feel like they know hell of a match made in heaven. They don't look like they mesh no special way, or like they finish each other's sentences or any of that shit. So whatever, you know, they are from two different walks of life. I'm still trying to figure out what walk of life she's from. She's not being completely open and honest with us. I'd feel more comfortable if she was a Middle Eastern lady, being a Middle Eastern lady. But she knows she wouldn't have the black vote, and that's the downfall. You gotta lie to get through this world here. And Trump gotta pretend to like black people to get the little 19%. I mean, we gotta do our thing out there. And we gotta pretend some shit too. We gotta pretend too. And it's just bluffing. If y'all don't go vote anyway, well, pretend you ain't. At least make a poll look different so they'll get nervous. But as long as they got our vote locked up, they're never going to offer us anything. You know, it's the way it is, folks. But ain't no thing. We got a heated up political season to go through. We got people and stories and videos that I will be doing that I hope will keep you guys glued to this channel. But until then, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next Black Popcorn.